Alright, so what you're looking at right here is the Canvas course. So when you go to the home page of the Canvas course, right here, you'll see trainings. So if you click on trainings, you'll see the one from Monday, August 12th. You'll see the one from Thursday, August 15th, and the video and the agenda. And then the one for today, the agenda's right here if you ever want to get to it. And then the video we posted here. But the agenda for today is this. Oops. Why is this thing not coming up? Alright, so the agenda. So first thing I'm going to do is going to talk about educator scoring. And then I'm going to talk about the location of the teacher study guides. And then the third one will look at the location of educator scoring DRC. And then the process involved in scoring the writing responses. And then printing the writing responses before submitting scores. And then rescoring if necessary. And then any questions related to topics other than educator scoring for today. So if you have any other questions that you have. But the first thing I want to do is just focus on what today is about, and that's the educator scoring. Okay, so remember when you gave teachers teacher access, one of the things you gave them was educator scoring. So they all should have access to educator scoring. All right, so let's talk about in DRC where to find. So the second part here is where to find the teacher study guides, because the teacher study guides is a one that has the rubrics, and I believe it has exemplars. So we'll see if it does have the exemplars. It does have the rubrics. All right, so to get to the teacher study guides, you are going to have to go to DRC. So let's go ahead and sign in. So la.drcedirect.com, and you're going to sign in. Teachers will sign in as well, so teachers do have access to this. They do have access to the teacher study guides. And all right, so when teachers and yourself, when you get into DRC, you're going to go to My Applications, and you are then going to go to General Information. So remember, we're getting to the teacher study guide. So you can go to General Information, and when you click on General Information, you're then going to go to Documents, and then when you click on Documents, all right, and so you're going to indicate the administration, and you're also going to indicate the document type. So administration, document type, and then you're going to click on Show Documents. So the administration is going to be Leap 360, 2425. The document type is going to be, if you scroll down, you got to scroll down all the way to the bottom. When you scroll down all the way to the bottom, you're going to see teacher study guides. So that's how you get to the teacher study guides. So you're going to click on it, and then you're going to say Show Documents, and then scroll down, and it's like 3 pages maybe. So 3 pages, 43 items. So notice down here there are 43 items. I don't know if you can see it, but when you go in DRC you can see it. You can't see it probably on the screen here, but it's 43 items. So there are 43 of these teacher study guides, one for each content area and grade level, and one for diagnostic, and then notice you get them for interim as well. So the interim study guides are already in here, and teachers have access to all of this. So right now, though, we're just focusing on the diagnostic. So the diagnostic appears, it looks like, on the first page. So if you click on one of them, and so let's say we click on, let's say we want to look at the fourth grade ELA teacher study guide. And so then you're going to go to the, right here, the little PDF icon. So we can go to fourth grade, and when you open it up, this one's about 214 pages. They're not all the same amount of pages, so the pages vary. Usually the math one has fewer pages, but the ELA has more pages. So it's 214 pages. So I would not print these out unless you have lots of paper and lots of ink to do this. But teachers have access to this. So when you scroll down and go to the next page, they all look the same. Every teacher study guide will look the same. It'll have the answer key, then it'll have the scoring guide, and then it's going to have the test. So answer key, scoring guide, and test. The answer key, when you click on the answer key, it starts here, and then you scroll down, it just says the answers. So when teachers look at this, they're going to see what session. See, remember there are 3 sessions: session 1, session 2, session 3. The sequence, so item 1, item 2, item 3, item 4 in that session, and then the item type, EBSR, MC, and so on, and then the key, and then the standard. And then remember, this is ELA, so they talk about text complexity. So if your teachers have difficulty understanding what text complexity is, I believe the literacy coaches go to the schools, and so maybe your ELA teachers can meet with the literacy coaches to discuss more about text complexity. All right, so that's the answer key. That's what the answer key looks like. Any questions at this point before I go on about this? Everybody okay, right? All right, so then, so here's session 2. So remember the answer key, there are 3 sessions: session 1, session 2, and session 3. Now remember, when you print the tickets, as we're going through this, there are 3 sessions. When we print the tickets in Leap 360, there is only one ticket, right? So those of you that started, you notice there's only one ticket. Whereas in Leap, each session has its own ticket. But in Leap 360, there's only one ticket. And I meant to call DRC this morning to find out this. So remember, there's only one ticket, right? So can a student, and a student could be in another class and say, well, I remember the username and password, so I'm going to start taking the next test. It is possible they could do that. Chances are they won't, but it is possible. They could do that. They could, since it's the same username and password, they could in another class or in PE or someplace like that start taking the next portion of the test if you did not mean for them to do that. All right, so just be aware that that is possible. All right, and then again, you have the sequence, the number 21, number 22, and so on. And then you have the item type, the key, and then text complexity. And then session 3, well, it looks like I thought that all tests had 3 sessions. This is session 2. Unless the writing response was session 3. It could be that it's probably the writing response with session 3. So session 3 is not showing up here because in ELA the writing response is probably session 3. All right, and then here's a scoring guide. So remember, there are different forms, right? So you had to be careful of the different forms. I'm still having phone calls from some of you that's asking me, what form should I be using? All right, so remember the forms you should be using. If you go back to the Canvas course and go back to the home page, those forms, let me scroll down a little bit more. If you go to the diagnostic test, the forms are right here. Which forms do I give? So when you click on that, it'll tell you which form to give. So knowing which form to give, if we go back to the teacher study guide, the teacher would click on the correct form that they're using. So grade 4, let me go back and see what grade 4 was. So grade 4 is form 1B. So then I'm going to come here, and then the teacher would go to this one here. So this right here, information is for form 1A and 2A, and this right here is for form 1B and 2B. So this is a one that a fourth grade teacher would use. So they have right here, they have the anchor set. So the anchor set are exemplars. Those are the exemplars. So when you click on this or your teacher clicks on it, you'll see some anchor sets. Now when I say exemplars, I kind of mean this. This is what whatever the score is. So let's say it's a 4. So this is what a 4 looks like. This is what a 3 looks like, and so on. So those are what they are referring to as an anchor set. So if I click on that, on the anchor set, you'll see anchor paper number 1. And these actually, by the way, those were actual student responses. So a few years ago, the state asked, LDOE asked several districts to submit student responses, and then those were the student responses. Those are actual student responses. And so given this anchor set right here, a teacher needs to look at this anchor set, and it's a good idea that if there's more than one fourth grade teacher or fifth grade teacher, ELA, that all those teachers get together to understand, here's a response, and then this is what the state says it is, so that way they're all calibrated at the same place. All right, so you don't want one teacher saying this is a 1 and another teacher saying it's a 4. They need to be all on the same page because all those students come from the same school in the same district. So it is possible that the ELA content trainers in the district and the literacy coaches in the district may be working with teachers on this, your ELA teachers. It is possible they may be doing something like that. But remember, the writing response is based in this case on content, presentation of ideas, and control of conventions. So content is out of 4 points, presentation of ideas is out of 4 points, and then control of conventions out of 2 points, and that writing response was worth 10 points. Okay? So when you go to the anchor statement number 2, here's another statement that a student wrote, and then the score that the group of teachers gave for that particular writing response for content was 3 out of 4, presentation of ideas 3 out of 4, control of conventions 2 out of 2, and the final score was 8 out of 10. And then keep on going down, so they have more anchor statements. So there's number 3, and then same idea. Okay? All right, any question of those anchor statements? If there's more than one ELA teacher, fourth grade ELA teacher, or more than one fifth grade ELA teacher, or more than one Algebra 1 teacher, same thing for math, or English 1, those teachers need to be getting together to try and make sure they're on the same page in terms of how to score. Okay? Otherwise, you're going to have teachers being so subjective that that data right there as a school will not mean anything. So they need to be on the same page when scoring this. All right, any questions? All right, so that's the anchor. Before I move on, y'all okay with the anchor statements? So the anchor statements are just student responses and how the scoring was done. All right, and then so that was ELA. Let me go back to where I was. Let me go back to the beginning. Scroll down. All right, so we talked about the answer key. All right, and then we were right here. So when a teacher, and by the way, you should send the recording to the teacher as well, because all of this is for teachers. Teachers are the one that's going to be um, scoring these things. So you have scoring information right here. We just talked about the anchor statement. And then they have practice scoring exercises. So remember, your teachers get together, they look at the anchor statements, and they look and see how LDOE scored those responses. Then they have practice scoring exercises. So then the teacher goes here, and so you have practice scoring. Here's the blank page. So they indicate there are 4 papers, and they indicate for content how many out of 4, presentation ideas how many out of 4, control conventions how many out of 2 for each of those papers. And the papers, I believe, there are actually 6, I guess. And the papers, I believe, start here. So there's practice number 1, practice number 2, and I don't know how many practices there are. Let's just scroll down. It looks like, well, there are 6, because remember the other one had 6. And look, so it is possible, remember, that if a student could just write one sentence. On a state test, they do that. They will just write one sentence. They'll say something like, I don't know. And sometimes they'll leave it blank. All right. But these are practice ones for the teacher. So if it's a group of teachers, they want to get together and practice these together so that way they're all scoring the same way. And then I wonder, okay, and so here's what LDOE says, by the way. So the answers are here. That LDOE says should be what number 1 should be, number 2 should be. So if you have a group of teachers that say this is a 10 out of 10, when LDOE says it's a 4 out of 10, they need to get back together and say, well, why are we so far off? Okay. So any questions on the anchor statements and the practice? All right. So then I'm going to go back. I keep going back because I don't know how to get back to that page I was on. All right. So we finished with the answer key. So that was the answer key. All right. Um, so then the next part is a scoring guide. So let's go to page 5. Okay. Well, that was what we were on. All right. So that's the scoring information. All right, so let's look at scoring information, see what that is. So in scoring information, scroll down. All right, so this is the general rubric, I guess. The general rubric. So LDOE, and this is true for the state test, by the way. So all this is based on state LEAP tests. But for content and presentation, students can earn from 0 to 4 from 0 to 4 score points for each dimension. So remember there were 3 dimensions. And then in terms of content, consider which of these descriptions most accurately describes the student's responses. So here's the 4, the 3, the 2, the 1, and the 0. And then here's the one for presentation of ideas. So for presentation of ideas, this is what a 4 should be. This is what a 3 should be. Remember, this is a general rubric. It's not specific. It's just general. This is a 2, a 1, and a 0. And then for control of convention, remember control of conventions is 2 points. That's the max. Here's what a 2 should look like. This is what a 1 should look like. So if you look at this, a 2, I'm going to do this quick. A 2 says this. Now remember, this is for control of conventions. The response demonstrates a strong command of writing in complete, correct, simple, compound, and complex sentences that incorporate coordinating and superlative conjunctions and of the correct use of irregular, plural, and abstract nouns, regular and irregular verbs, and so on. Wow. I may need to go back and take an English class from middle school that talks about all these things. But anyway, so that's 2 points. That's 1 point, and 0 points. Okay. All right, and then you scroll down, and then um, so I'm assuming. Oh, I think what this is this. All right. So so if a teacher wanted to write, so when they're scoring this for each student, when they're scoring this for each student, um, let's say they have 20 students in that class, they could make 20 copies of this, and then they could write down what's the area of strength for that student, what's the area of improvement for that student, and their score. And so therefore they have a copy of something that they could keep going back to and seeing, all right, Johnny, in terms of content, he's strong in this area. He needs improvement in this area. For presentation of ideas, he's strong in this area. He needs improvement in this area, and so on. So that's what this is. Um, and some of your teachers may use this. All right, and so we back to the anchor statement, and I believe that I guess that's it then, for ELA. Let me just quickly go back. I believe that's it for ELA. So went to the scoring guide, and then the last thing is the test. So the test, when they click on test, this is um, the uh, the passage. So the passages here that the students would see on the online test, and then I'm just going on. All right, and then the answers. So it highlights in green what the answer should be. Okay, and then it has um, the what the answer is, and then for a student that indicated incorrect, why they possibly indicated the wrong answer. Okay, so for each of the questions they have that. So number 2, and then here's they say A. So the one with the asterisk and bold is correct, and then B, C, and D are incorrect, and they give a rationale for why a student would indicate the incorrect answer. Okay, so any questions on this? I want to see though, remember there are 3 sessions. I want to see if the 3rd session is where the writing responses are. I- I'm I'm just curious um, because there are 3 sessions on the test. So I'm assuming for ELA the that last session is the writing response. Um, so this was number 30, but they don't have the session that was on. I'm just going to scroll down. We don't have that many pages left. 34, 35, 36. Scrolling down. There are 214 pages for this one. 38, 39. There are a lot of problems on that test, right? A lot of questions, a lot of items. 40. Um, and then it looks like, okay, yeah, so it looks like the 3rd session would be the writing response. So, like the writing response here says, think about what the passage Amazing Gorillas say about protecting gorillas where they live. Write a response that explains your opinion about why people protect gorillas, and then use details from the article to support your ideas. And then Now the student doesn't see this, but the teacher would see the scoring guide. So they click on see scoring guide. They're back to where we were earlier. But that was session 1A. I'm sorry. We need to get to 2A. All right. So we need to be careful. So remember different format. So let's go. Let's go. They got to be careful. Wasn't very careful here. All right. So remember ours is what 1B. So let's just keep going down. That's session 2. 1. So everything is in that document. So just have to be careful how they maneuver this document. All right, so we're back to um, oh come on. All right, so this one here. You see where it says 2A? So 2A goes with 1A. But remember, grade 4 is 1B, right? So we got to find 2B. So let's go to 2B. Let's see if we can find 2B. So 2B goes with form 1B. 1B is what they have to be using. And I'll explain the difference between A and the 2 and the 1. All right, so here we go. All right, so all fourth grade students will be using this passage, this one right here, from Moon, because remember 1B. So we got to use the B one. And so just make sure the teacher is going to the right passage. So then you go to this one. So this is the one that needs to be used for fourth grade because it's the one that says B, not A. So it says, think about the passage from Moon. Think about how the passage from Moon describes what people use to know about the moon and what we know about it now. Write a response that explains how people's knowledge and understanding of the moon has changed over time, and then use details from the passage to support your ideas. Okay, so remember that's form 1B. So we got to use the one that says B for fourth grade. For fifth grade, I believe that's the one that was A, so they would use the one that says A, not B. It is confusing in that study guide, so they got to make sure they're using the right passage with the scoring. Okay, any questions on what I just said? Okay, so if I...
No, sir.
Hello? Okay, all right. So the voice came out of something else. It didn't come out of here, so I'm a little confused. Okay, so if I go to fifth grade, let's go to fifth grade just to show you. So I'm going to go to fifth grade. I'm going to go back to DRC. I'm going to X here. So I want to go to fifth grade ELA. So let's find fifth grade ELA. So fifth grade ELA diagnostic is right here. So I'm going to open this up. And, all right. So I'm going to go to test. I'm going to go to test. This is fifth grade. All right. And when I scroll down, remember fifth grade is 1A, right? So 1A is the one they need. So that's the one they need, not 1B. So there's a 1A here, and then watch. Okay, all right, I need to go to the writing response. The writing response is at the end. All right, let's go to the end to the writing response. Scroll, keep scrolling, keep scrolling. All right, so here's item 32. Let's see if I can get to it. Lord have mercy. Okay, there's a lot. This one had 204 pages. Okay, 39, 39, 40, 40. Okay, so sessions 1 and 2 had 40 items. Session 3 is a writing response. Okay, so remember, the form for grade 5 is 1A, right? So the writing response that the teacher will focus on will be the one that says 2A. It is confusing. The one that says 2A. So the one that says the A. The A. So this is the one that students, so when students take the ELA 5th grade test, they're going to be using this passage, Journey to Nowhere, because that's the one that says A. And then there's the question, the writing prompt. The scoring guide is here. Now, not for the student, but for the teacher. If you scroll down, though, this says to be. So teachers need to make sure that they're looking at the right passage. To be is a different passage for something else. Um, notice the passages are different, and it's for something else, like expository versus um, narrative or something like that. So it's a different writing type. So teachers need to make sure that these are that they're using the right passage. All right. So I gave two examples. I went through both of them, a grade 4 and a grade 5. So therefore, you sh- you should not have any difficulty with explaining to them that when they get to that part of the document right here, that they know which one to use, either to A or to B. So grade 4 is going to go to, remember, grade 4 is the B one, right? So they can go to 2B. Grade 5 is the A one. They're going to go to 2A. It can easily be confusing. All right. Okay. So any questions at this point? I'm going to pull this back over. I tried doing the best I could with explaining how to make it simple for them. B, you're going to find 2B. A, you're going to find 2A. All right, so we talked about all of these. So any questions on the location of the teacher study guide? Okay, so someone's asking, you remember in LEAP, on the LEAP test, you'll have to read directions to the students, right? On the actual LEAP test. So you have a TA manual. There is no TA manual with LEAP 360. There's none. So the question is from Megan. She's asking, is there a document for teachers to read the directions to the class on the day of the test? If so, where I can find it? Megan, there is none. It's not as secure. It's still secure, but not as secure as the LEAP test. The LEAP test, you have to read directions. There are no directions for LEAP 360. Okay, Megan, did I answer your question? Okay. All right, no directions for LEAP 360. The state does not provide that. All right. Okay. So, any questions on how to find the teacher study guide? So, if a teacher asks you, where do I find the teacher study guide? You're able to do that, right? Although you can give them this recording. For ELA is tricky. They have to make sure that the writing response on the teacher study guide is the one they're focusing on. Someone's asking, the tests are administered based off of homeroom, but ELA teachers have to score the written responses. How does that work? Do ELA teachers need specific access? So, can someone remember? Can someone remember what is it that when you give anyone other than school access, when you create an account, what account should you have created for LEAP 360 for them? A teacher access. Uh-huh.
As long as you created them a teacher account, then when they go to score, they should have access to all of those students. So they should be able to go in and score even small group sessions.
Yes. So if you gave the teacher if you gave the staff member teacher access, they automatically get educator scoring. Okay, educator scoring is what gives them access to score. Every teacher sees every teacher sees everything. So teacher A can go and score teacher B. Teacher A can go and score teacher C. So if teacher C is ill, then you can have other teachers go and help scoring. Okay? All right. But if you gave them teacher access, they automatically got um, educator scoring. Okay, hopefully that answered the question. View dynamic reports, Cindy. So Cindy says teacher count and view dynamic reports. View dynamic reports only allows them to see reports. To score, they need educator scoring. Oh, I see. Which access? All right, thank you. So next week, we're going to talk about the reports. This week is only about scoring, and then next week will be on the reports.